In today's video, I'm going to be comparing my very first track day, the fastest lap from that day, compared to the newest fastest lap that I did just this past weekend. This is all the same track, it's called the Firm, this is all the same car. This is my 1992 Civic EG. There have been changes to it. That very first track day, the car had nothing. I mean nothing done to it. It was a bone stock Civic CX, except it did have a D15 B7 engine in it instead of the B8. But importantly, it did have the CX transmission still, which is the worst. Now, fast forward to today, the car's been developed a little bit. I do have coilovers, wheels, tires. I've messed with some suspension bits like the upper camber arms. I have rear camber arms, toe links. And I changed out things in the front like the tie rods and lower ball joints. I also now have race engine mounts in this thing. But so what I plan to do in this video is A and B both laps. So here we go, let's get into the first lap. Okay, so coming down the main straight here. 72 miles an hour, 74. That's about topping out at 74 miles an hour. I know now I get much closer to 90 miles an hour. All right, turn it in. Oh God. You see how slow that is? Just look at that real quick. Let's back that up real quick. Look at that. Look to the left there. You see that cone? I was not using anywhere near all of the track. That's my first big thing that, it's hard to understand, I guess, on your very first day out there is use all of the track. So the turn in is much, much slower. You can see that kind of the car is pointed in a direction where I'm not even really pointed at the apex the way I would want to be. Back on the gas. Take that apex, that was nice and easy. Okay, so the infamous turn 2 and 3 here at the Firm. So turn in, oh God. God. See, the things you learn, man, by doing. The things you learn by doing. This apex right here probably was decent if you're just looking at it as a one corner. Let's go ahead and back that up and you'll see that, yes, I hit the apex okay, but it was a really early apex. Look at the way my car is pointed off here. What I've learned right there is that totally kills your momentum. Set it up for the next turn, which you want to be rocketing out of. So let's go ahead and take a look at my newest fastest lap of that portion. Coming up to the turn, you see him using all of the track right here. Much later turn in. You can see that my angle of the car is very different compared to what my very first lap was. I'm deliberately pointing the car in such a direction to where I could try to get on the gas early and hammer it and go through turn 3 fully pegged. So then going back to my very first lap, my very first hot lap of doing that, you can see that the exit there of that turn 2 is so wide. And then it's almost like I'm looking directly in front of my car, which is probably what I was doing. But see how wide I was there. And then I have to really sweep the car back to turn left. And I probably was telling myself, oh, I used all the track there, haha. Using all the track there, that was decent, that was good. And that wasn't that bad. Considering that this car had so little grip to it. Those all-season tires, man, like, oh my God. And the stock suspension, stock everything of this car, it was like a boat on the ocean, I might as well had a big captain's wheel up in there. But so considering how little grip that thing actually had, I'm decently proud of myself going through there at that corner. Coming through there, not bad. But let's go ahead and take a look at the newest rocket out of that turn 3. Using all the track, and just look at the confidence there. I don't know if you could tell that through this video, but just the way I turn that steering wheel in to the right, it's just a confident turn, one motion. It's not like this whole, I don't know, the other lap it just looked kind of like, oh God, I'm scared. This one is just point the car, get back on the gas, right on the gas as you're passing the apex. Much cleaner, much more solid. Putting the power down really, really well. The coilovers, the wheels, tires, the solid engine mounts, like that has so much to do with that. But I, as a driver, am setting that corner up exactly the way I am intending to with the best of the knowledge that I have in this current moment. Let's continue on with the newest fastest lap here. Turn in, boom. Hit that apex pretty nice there. I believe that I still have a lot of time to be gained here in this portion. I feel like I'm hitting the brakes way too early, and I'm still trailing the brakes coming out of that corner. So I do feel like the car could stand to have a little more rotation there. And, you know, I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, dude, you gotta get sway bars to get rotation and stuff. And I agree that will absolutely help. But you can bring on the rotation yourself by the way you drive the car. This is the way it was explained to me, and the way it really made a lot of sense. So you're coming up to that corner, right? Your car is balanced. If we agree that this is the rear of the car, this is the front, the weight of the car, you see the water here, is shifted back over your rear wheels a bit more. You go ahead and hit the brakes, the weight shifts to the front. Well, if you're only hitting the brakes a certain amount, you still have a decent amount of weight on the rear. And then if you're trailing the brakes off, the weight slowly starts to come back like this. But what if I come into that corner and I really hit the brakes hard? You see the weight come off of the rear of that thing, and then I start to introduce some steering. Well, since the rear of the car is light, it's gonna rotate a little bit more naturally than if I had the car completely balanced and was trying to rotate it. I can then really get the weight off of the rear of the car. It will rotate a bit better, then still smoothly come out of the brakes, but maybe just a little bit quicker. You never want to just come off the brakes, because then weight shifts in weird ways that you may not expect. Going back to my first fastest lap ever through there, see I'm coming up, and it just looks so much slower, doesn't it? I mean, it's because it is. But look at that wide turn I put in there too. I wasn't on the gas at that apex. I was kind of coming around it, starting to introduce the gas in. I wasn't like pegging it. And right there, again, not using all of the track. That to me says I wasn't looking far forward enough. So that way, there's no way I could get on the gas when I need to maximize every bit out of that corner. Bring it to my new fastest lap, and you see me rocketing out of there. Well, rocketing, it's a D series, but you know, for the best it can do. Nice, confident turn in. You see how much less the car wants to roll over, but the car is so much more planted, and I'm able to understand where I'm looking. I know where my outside exit point is, so I can really get on the gas and again, rocket that thing out of the corner, man. This is called the S's. And coming up into here, you really almost skip two of the S's. This first one here, you see I just jumped that curb, man. I'm just like, whatevs. Like, it doesn't unsettle the car that bad because you're driving in a straight line. Yes, it's a bump, but you know, it kind of is the fastest way through there, I believe. If you want to do one of these slalom kind of things, I don't know, I feel like you're going to have to come out of the gas because it's pretty tight S's. And then again for that second one, I think they kind of invite the jumping of the curb on that second one. And these are not damaging curbs at the firm, at least on those two corners. Like, I think enough people have done it that, you know, they're pretty smoothed out. Yes, it's a bump, but it's not like you're breaking your car or something. So I jumped that second curb again. Then I start to put in some steering to turn the car left to go ahead and set up for this hairpin. So let's go ahead and look back at the first fastest lap. Just feels like I'm trundling along. And you see there how I put a little bit more steering lock into that first corner, but actually too, look at this second one. I think you kind of had to, because look, it was all dirt there before. So wow, that is something that the firm actually did change, and they kind of quickened. You're allowing people to just run straight over that corner now, effectively eliminating it so you could go faster. But you can see how there's divots in the dirt. So people must have been going through there all the time, kind of eliminating it themselves anyway. But come on, that's track limits, man, come on. I still do go nice and wide through there, that's decent. But I think I had way too early of an apex here. This hairpin is something that really kind of still throws me through a loop a little bit. I know you need to really late apex it, but because there's no super clear defined outer edge of the track, there's just cones there. I don't know, it kind of messes with me a little bit, and I'm like, where is the outer edge of the track? I'm still trying to figure my way through there. But so you see on this first fastest lap, I really hugged that inside corner way too quick. Early apex on that thing, and the problem with that is that totally kills your speed, your momentum, whatever you want to call it, coming out of that hairpin onto this straight. So much of your lap time can be made up on straights. If you have a big straight coming up after a turn, you have to prioritize the exit of that turn. You want to come out of that turn with as much possible RPM, as much possible mile per hour as you possibly can, because that's going to set you up for that long straight. And on the straight, what can you do? Nothing. You can just peg the gas. Well, if you're getting on the gas too late, then you're pretty much losing time that entire time coming down that straight. If this guy here, this hand, gets on the gas earlier coming out of a corner, you're just going to constantly pull away from the other guy, the other hand. Look at that. Totally wider, so much wider on the new lap. This is more a sign of I know what I'm trying to do here. I know what I'm going for. I'm not just around a racetrack. Around a racetrack. I know where I want to go. But so I'm happy with that. You see my revs coming up. I'm right about 4,000 RPM, which is right in my peak torque for the engine that I have. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, but I do still feel there's time in it. So again, going down that straight there after that hairpin, so much time is made up there. And then this wall turn, the infamous wall turn. A lot of people poop their pants when they're coming up to this wall turn for the first time. I was definitely scared at first, the first time I did it, because you're literally going like 60, 70 miles an hour straight towards a wall, and it's kind of like intimidating. But, you brake really, really early the first times you go out there, and then you kind of start to gain confidence as the tires and brakes warm up, and, you feel like you could come into it a little bit better. Here on this newest lap, let's start right there. I feel like I am maybe apexing this a little early. I feel like to position my car better for the mid corner here, but this entire corner here, this whole wall turn, we'll call it, you really got to maximize the exit, man. The main straight after this is the biggest on the racetrack, and you can absolutely lose a crap load of time if you do not get a good exit there. What I want to try to do next time is come into this wall turn not actually hitting that apex. Reason being is I think it will straighten out my car a bit better and allow me to get a better exit. I'll just have to show you next time. Getting really far out close to that wall. And then this part right here, it actually kind of messed me up, because you see this cone laying down in the middle of the road. That's right where you want to be, man, right where that cone is. And so I got on the gas a little bit later than I wanted to. I got on the gas much better than my very first lap. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Coming into that wall turn. Look at how early I apex that thing coming into that wall turn. So early. I don't know if that's good or not, but I'm leaning towards more not. But, so apex decent on that coming out of there. I can't be mad at that, honestly. Good job, Rob, with your, bone stock EG there. But so anyway, with my very first fastest lap of my very first track day, I got a minute 43.1. That's not necessarily a time to be proud of at the firm. That's pretty slow, but considering that my car was bone stock, I'm on all season tires, I've never driven a track ever at this point, I was really proud of it. I was really proud of myself, because a lot of people were looking at my car out there that day and be like, this guy gonna drive this thing out here? You kidding me? Honest to God, it was the talk of the day. Ask Travis. People just couldn't believe that I had this bone stock car out there and I was getting ready to drive the thing. And was that dumb or not on my part? I don't know, but I don't feel like it was. It was exactly what I wanted to do. If you remember, if you've been watching that long, the very, very beginning of this thing, I said I wanted to do a Gran Turismo type approach to this whole build, where I wanted to start, get a baseline, see how it is, drive the thing, and then decide what I needed. Unfortunately, I had a ton of engine troubles, and that's all I ended up doing for a long, long time. So I haven't totally been able to stick to that, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start with just the stock car. Coming back to my newest, fastest lap, I come out of that corner really good, the best I've done yet, obviously. It's my fastest time. And then I cross those cones there, getting a minute 29.8. Man, I'm proud of that. For how much power the car has, for the level of grip that it has, considering it has no aero, it has no sway bars. I'm proud of that time. That to me is showing that I am learning on the simulator as well as doing karting, how to look ahead, how to pick my lines, how to read a racetrack, how to understand where I want to position my car. And no way am I at the end of that journey. I'm just starting it as far as I'm concerned. I feel that there's still a few seconds left in this car, in its current trim at the firm. To be honest with you, I would love to get into the minute 27s this next time out, which is this coming weekend. Will I be able to do it? I don't know. Is that possible? I don't know. But I'm going to be shooting for it. And I feel comfortable enough that I think I can get there. I think I can. So I'd love to be able to bring you another fastest lap video. Maybe we can compare this newest fastest lap with another new one. But, I don't know. I got to get out there and see. It's never a given that you're going to go out and get personal best every single time. Like, that's foolish to think that that's going to happen. And I don't. But I'm going to be shooting for it. I'm confident. I'm confident in the car. I'm feeling good about my driving. And I feel like I'm learning a lot. And again, this is going to be the year of driving, people. So let's keep getting out there. This was a really fun look back at my very first track day compared to now. What do you think? Have I improved? I mean, I guess it's obvious I have. Even though the car has been improved, with the wheels, tires, and coilovers, I do believe that my driving has significantly improved from that very first day. So thank you all so much for watching. Be seeing you back out at the firm.